Welcome home, Cojourners. I'm glad you're here for another episode. I'm Dr. Thema, licensed psychologist, ordained minister, and sacred artist, here to help facilitate your journey back home to yourself. And I am so glad we're here with our special guest, my sister, author, writer, facilitator, healer, truth teller, Lalah Delia. Welcome.
Thank you, sister. I am so honored.
Yes.
So honored to be right here next to you.
Oh, thank you. We were just talking about the fact that we've been in a relationship for years, but this is our first time meeting up in person. So you all are here for it.
Yay! The stars have aligned.
It has. This was the day it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
And so I want to tell you all some more about Lalah. She is a spiritual writer and practitioner, meditation, poet, and best-selling author of Vibrate Higher Daily. So you all want to pause the video, go over and get the book right now, order it. Live Your Power. Having alchemized her own journey from crisis and survival into empowered healing and spiritual transformation, she now walks alongside those called to rise into their own power, purpose, alignment, and courage. Through her virtual platform, Vibrate Higher Daily School, she nurtures and guides a global community of seekers devoted to empowered healing and spiritual transformation. The school offers sanctuary, teachings, and tools for living in divine alignment with one's most optimal self, energy, and life path. Discover her transformational work and community at vibratehigherdaily.com. We'll put that in the note, and follow her on Instagram, Lalah Delia. She also shares reflections and sacred writings, I love them, on Substack through her publication, Embodiment Chronicles. Finally, her new Audible original meditation series marks her latest body of work, a 3-part spiritual offering of restoration and spiritual empowerment, now available exclusively on Audible. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
So we want to talk on today about reclaiming ourselves by living our divine lives.
Yes.
Because sometimes we're on detour, and your opening sentence so resonates with me. She remembered who she was, and the game changed. And so I think we could even have as a subtitle, Remembering Who You Are.
Yeah.
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 So we love to start with readings. And would you read for us something from your book?
Sure. So I'm going to be reading from page 62.
Okay.
There is many options in here that I was like, should it be this one? Should it be this one?
Yeah.
And this one would not leave me alone.
Then that's the
Allowed
one.
here today. So this is the one. Grapes must be crushed to make wine. Diamonds form under pressure. Olives are pressed to release oil. Seeds grow in darkness. Whenever you feel crushed, under pressure, or in darkness, you're in the powerful place of transformation and transmutation.
Wow. And so true.
Yeah.
Painfully true.
Yeah.
And I know one of your gifts has been your transparency. And I know you have multiple events to pull from, but can you give an example about how a dark season was fruitful for you?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay, let me think which one. I'm like going on the wheel.
Right, yes.
There's been so many, and I want to say the darkest season for me, and I want to say that I still feel I have those seasons sometimes.
Yeah.
Even though my younger self would have been like, we made it.
Right.
In so many ways, but I still have them because there's parts of me now that still have to expand, that still have to grow,
Yes.
that still have to keep going.
Yeah.
Where now I look to my future self, I'm like, really? That's possible? And doing the work for that. And sometimes that feels like uncomfortable, putting myself out there when I'd rather not be seen or do all the things. So I want to say that this overarching theme that I just wrote about on Substack, actually, one of the lines in my Substack article, it's called you are the bridge to a better life. And it's being the bridge to a better life when you know there's more.
Yeah.
And for me, that was the biggest running theme in my life. I want to say beyond the domestic violence, the predator relationship, getting called into this predatory work that I was doing, of mind control, all the ways that I got here, my feeling of I don't belong here, I know there's more, was almost more painful than all of that. It's so interesting.
Yeah.
Not remembering who I was hurt more.
Yes.
It was because I didn't remember that was there in the pain in the first place.
Right.
So I had to figure out, who am I? Because if I know who I am, maybe I can get home because this is not it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so it was that feeling. And I think that's what my work, and I feel and I sense a new sense every day that's who my work is for the people who don't remember who they are and cannot find their way home. Even if it's just for 10 minutes of the day, you forget who you are. Pick up my book and read a passage.
Right.
Log onto my work, my writing somewhere, one of my meditations. But we live in a world that continually profits off of dislocating us energetically, spiritually, so many different ways. And so that's what I'd say was my biggest dark night of the soul, was this ongoing feeling of attracting even, entertaining even, when I had no business even, and curiosity, which I write about a lot. Be careful what you're curious of, because that's an invitation and opening a door. You don't know what you're playing with these energetics and these spirits. And so a lot of this, that even relationship wise, I was curious. I do take accountability for some of this too, because I have to. If I really remember who I am, I had power, but I didn't realize it.
Yeah.
So even that, I have grace with myself and I love myself through it. But it's this overarching theme of knowing there's more. When I was going through domestic violence, I mean, hospital stays, the whole thing, on a stripper pole, not knowing what the heck I was doing, fell.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I really don't
You
belong
literally
here.
fell off the pole.
Yes. No, I fell trying to get on the pole. I was like, okay, I really don't belong here.
Yes.
Man in the audience came, gave me a tip. I was like, no.
Wow.
This is not it, but then having to go home to a man who it was brain control. It was mind control. I was trapped, literally.
Yeah.
If I left, my life was in jeopardy. So it took a health crisis to get me out of that situation. Thank God.
Yeah.
And from there, the seeds just started to blossom that were planted in me from prayer, and I didn't grow up like that, right?
Yeah.
All the prayers, all the days in church and children's choir, young adult choir, all the things. In my own heart to turn towards God, those prayers started getting answered in that lowest rock bottom time, and I thought God was like, "You're disowned," and I think my life really does feel like a prodigal daughter.
Wow, so powerful and so grateful for your honest sharing, because sometimes when we see people in a situation, you assume, like people assume what your start was, right? And the reality is, we can start off connected to ourselves. And then life and events and experiences, as you said, can dislocate you. So then we end up in some other space and place. But thank goodness for the part of you that is like, I don't belong here. And I just believe that there are those who are watching who have that same feeling. When you look at your life, it does not match what you know to be your truth. Right?
Yes.
So even when you say dislocated, describe that some more. What does it mean to be dislocated?
Oh, yeah. It's, for one, like I wrote about in my current Substack article, I said I felt like a ghost in my own story. I felt like a ghost in my own life. And it was this feeling of not belonging anywhere that came with the reality that had formulated from all of those choices. And like you just say, the dislocation just pulls you in further and further and further. And it came with friends, it came with things, options that I had to like. Like if, and I talk about this sometimes in young people, if we take you out of the environment you're in and put you in a healthier environment, don't your choices look different? Like what your entertainment is, who is in your ear, you know, what you have options to do that day. But it really does matter. The environment is everything, because those are your choices, and we can zoom out of that in society, right? This really is a construct. A lot of times we think we're free, but are we? Is this really our highest choice?
Yeah.
You know, our highest divine choice. And so that's what that dislocation feels like. It just feels like, this isn't it.
Yeah.
This is not this relationship, maybe not this work, definitely not the work I was doing. And I give thanks. It was very brief what I was in there doing, but it was enough. It was enough to go into that underworld all those years. I want to say the abusive relationship. This isn't it. And you will make yourself feel and believe and self-soothe to make you feel like it's okay. It'll work.
Yeah.
They'll change. It'll be okay. This will work out somehow.
Right.
Bless our tired, exhausted hearts.
Yes. Yes.
Because
optimistic in the midst of trauma.
In the midst of trauma is a thing. And so you start believing in those mirages, in those, you know, in that, these things that look like they're the solution, but they're not. These tests, you start camping out at the test versus passing.
Wait a minute. Camping out at the test.
Imagine that. Yeah.
You just keep retaking it over and over again.
Over and over and over. You're like, oh, no, okay.
Right.
Well,
I'll try it again.
Try it again and try it again. Not realizing that it's just to pass the whole test.
Yeah.
Like which calls for different choices.
Right.
It calls for a different me. And I read words before, I don't know who they were attributed to, but it takes a new you to get to a new level. Or every new level requires a new you.
Okay. Yes.
And when I read that, I was like, that's true, because what I had to do to get out of all of that, like if I looked at myself now, even her back then, my younger self, which I have, she's like my daughter. She really, that's how much I love her, and just check on her still and thank her still, because without her being the bridge here, I wouldn't be here. Sitting across from Dr. Thema, my goodness.
Oh,
yeah.
I love it. Our younger selves that survived and navigated and fought in their own way for us to get here. And then I love that you have a quote in here about us forgiving ourselves for the relationships we chose when we forgot our own power.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Forgive yourselves for all the relationships and friendships you settled for when you weren't in your power.
When you weren't in your power.
Yeah.
So that's how we ended up there. That's how we ended up there. And then, so you're saying in one of the examples, what helped you to get out of it was your own medical condition. Can you say something about that?
Yeah. So literally that day, trauma warning for anyone who needs to pause. There was a day I was going to leave, and we had a fight, and I left, got in a hotel. I mean, one of those hotels that you can see your door from the parking lot, like a motel hotel, like whatever I could afford at that time, I did it. And I just started having a bad pain from where I took a blow from. And it led me in the emergency room. And when I got to the emergency room, I just knew it was that. And I knew the drill back then. I was so programmed from not telling the truth of why you're in the emergency room. You know, all of that. I lived all of that. You don't turn that person in no matter what. And that's a thing too that we have to heal from when we're in that. So I was already carrying a lot of weight from that. But so I was ready to just be like, I failed.
Yeah.
And it was something else. So I didn't even have to come up with it.
Oh, it wasn't the injury from being.
It wasn't.
Yeah. Oh.
It was diverticulitis, which I had was like flaring up. And I was like, who? Like what?
Right.
Like what is this? And they're like, well, this only comes from people that are about 65 and plus. And at this time I was maybe 24. This was like half of my life ago, feels like now.
Yeah.
I was like 24, 25, or even a little younger, I think, about a year, maybe 24, 23. So it's really rare. And it took them hours to figure this out because it never happened to someone my age at the time. And they were about to misdiagnose me and send me off with medication and all. And then this one nurse was like, she took, on the discharge, she took my temperature. When she took my temperature, it was at 107. And mind you, a girlfriend of mine who was in that same life that I was in, I called her because I didn't know who else to call at the time. My family was out of state. And she had called him. It was a whole thing. So I was going to end up going back to the situation. And Dr.Thema, my fever protected me by saying 107.
Leave.
They have to admit you. So I had to stay in the hospital at 107. I got admitted, and then they did tests and tests and tests. And the next morning, they finally figured out through all these different tests that I had this. And then I had to be admitted longer. I had to have emergency surgery and all these things. And so although I opted not to have emergency surgery, thank goodness my sister was like, I know a herbalist out here. And by this time she knew everything, called him right away. And he was like, don't have the surgery. She can take some herbs.
Yeah.
We did that. I ended up, but I did stay in the hospital 7 whole days. Which
7 days.
7 days. 7 days were a refuge. It was enough to get me strong enough to say, okay, this is going to be my plan.
Yeah.
And the game was on from that. Even though it wasn't perfect, I stumbled and fell a lot of times, but that centered me in a way to where it opened the door for, in about a year after that, which put me on a plant-based trajectory and working with Dr. Sebi that changed my life. Wow. Is why I'm here today, those herbs. Yes. So all of that was the bridge. I talk about the bridge a lot. Yes. The sacred bridge. We have to understand these bridges in our lives that really, like, we're walking, we don't even know that there's about to be a bridge sometimes. But we have to have the courage to walk over it and to say goodbye to what was behind it and just go.
And that gift of, even when you don't, as Dr. King said, see the full staircase, but like you're moving forward. You know, you're in that hospital, you said you're trying to come up with the plan, but knowing I have to go forward. So for those who, when we start off talking about like divine living, but people see the moments of their life that they may have shame. We say like the gutter moments, the valley moments. How did you, or how do you push through the shame?
Yeah, that shame is something where you really, it's like, it's something that you just have to, you know how they say in the culture, you just have to take that. Like, you literally just have to say, okay, if there's shame, okay, because I want the healing more than I want to stay, then what's making me be ashamed? Like, then how I feel shame, right? And it's almost like, it feels like taking a cold plunge. It takes like just stepping out. Like, and for instance, for me, a feeling I had, one of my biggest frightening moments that I overcame, obviously, was public speaking. My first time public speaking, remember that? Well, I remember way back in church days, it's taking us back. Easter speeches.
Oh, yes. Yeah, were you anxious then? Or, even then, and that made you get up there?
I had to remember that Easter speech. I was like, oh my goodness. And then I was like, okay, here I go. And it's almost like you freeze, but you're still animated some kind of way. And I think that's learning, you know, all those little things, right?
Back to you, and now you're teaching.
And now, and it's like, wow. But I'll tell you what, like, it's this survival mechanism for me that allowed me to keep moving forward, even with shame. I remember just knowing that I had to overcome this, because by this time, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind, I was reading this book by Joseph Murphy. And I was understanding that my work, and I had my first teacher, if you think about the hero's journey, like, my mystical teacher started appearing. Literally all the archetypes and players and characters started appearing in my path. And I was learning that the subconscious mind is the one that's really keeping us trapped through fear, through programming. So if I could break out of that, which means I can move through the fear is only a program. I can move through the shame is only a program. When you say program, for people who don't know, what does that mean? So a program is something that has been instilled in you. So maybe you have sat around and heard people judging people for showing up, for being in their authenticity. Maybe you've done it, and that's building a program to where you're in your own personality and your own character. If now the shoe is on the other foot to where you're the one doing something courageous, now you're in fear because now you're trapped by your own programming. But maybe it wasn't yours, it was planted there. But also it's trapped by, for instance, I did have to live in terror. I lived in terror. It was harmful for me to show up in my authenticity.
Yeah.
I would be abused for it. I would have to answer 55 questions for why I was so joyful that day or whatever, wanted to look beautiful a certain day and would go somewhere. So it's really real. Or I want to say this, maybe we grew up around family or parents or siblings who were not in their power for some reason of their own that they need grace for and compassion for. They did not teach you how to be in your power. They did not know how to center their own joy before yours. They did not know how to show up on their divine life path. And so when they see others doing it, instead of congratulating it, they judge it possibly, or they'll say, well, that happens for them and not us. So there's so many programs, and the subconscious mind is soaking all of this in as data. And this data is running the ship. Think about a ship in the middle of a sea. Your subconscious mind really is the captain. So you can be at the wheel thinking you're steering, but think about the subconscious mind in those programs. That's the weather, the waves. It's all the things that you're going to have to navigate against until you learn how to, I would say, manage the weather that comes through your own mind, which is your thoughts, your energy, the vibrations that you entertain, take in, consume through lifestyle choices and environment and all the things. But yeah, I want to say those programs are just so important.
Yeah. That mindset, like you said, can keep us locked in. And I appreciate you saying that sometimes it's based in truth, like the truth of your experience.
Yeah.
But to say like, I'm not there anymore.
Yes.
So maybe you developed a way of surviving, you know, your childhood home or your relationship. But it's like, I've escaped that, but still have the mindset, right? So then the deprogramming, because I was really drawn to when you said like, previously you thought you were free. And the phrase that came to me was false freedoms. Right? Like how many times do we have like those false freedoms where you're like, now I'm here and we're still bound.
Yeah, that's it, that false freedom, because you can have a good time in that freedom. You meet friends in that false freedom, and it's a whole look you had in the false freedom. And I think if anything, when we look back at our pictures, that's why I often do this practice for myself, because for years I could not look at that era of myself in photos. Part of me deleted some of them, threw some of them away that were physical photos, but now I look at them and thank her. Thank you for getting me here. And she doesn't look so I would say so powerless to me. She was figuring it out with those dynamics. My goodness, I would not want to be in that to save my life now. But I was her that got through it. And so just like when we give birth, we can forget that pain, but we graduated from that.
You know, I was thinking about, as we're saying, like when you think you're free and not, what often happens, especially coming out of abusive relationships, is sometimes it's better, but still not good. Right? Because you were treated so horribly. Then the new one might not do the terrible things that one did. So then you're like, I made it. So the difference of like, is it just better or is this actually good for me?
Oh, I'm so glad you said that, because that's something I had to learn. That better is not always the goal. Healed is the goal.
Love that.
Can I heal this pattern? Can I heal my lifestyle? Can I heal what's coming through? Can I heal the type of people I'm attracted to, like whether it's friends or my partner? Can I heal that? And better was that, because a lot of times I was like, oh, this is good here. This is good, and it doesn't always equate, because sooner or later, when actually I'll talk about in here when the confetti falls, I was like, I want to feel just as happy when there's no more confetti, the excitement. I want to feel just as good when it all settles. Because if you're not in the right environment, when it settles, you're like, oh, okay, I see what it is.
Now I see.
Okay, all of that was the illusion, the distraction, and then now I'm basically, it's the same timeline. Just maybe a little better here somewhere. But how do I get off of that timeline? And so that's, for me, where I really started getting into the work of deeper into energetics into understanding about timeline and reality and dimensional, I was like, oh, wait a minute. So what I did now is, which you'll know perfectly what I'm saying, is like I'm living in a different dimension. This is just a different dimension because as I know, that young woman, she went through that. We're on the same planet, right, in the same family, but I had to change my living, which is a dimensional shift. It was a shift in consciousness that does put you on a different dimension. And it's why you can have people go through something and they'll take it two different ways, right? It's just like what's inside, and how you get there is through a lot of spiritual work. You really just have to put that spiritual effort in, prayer, dissolving a lot of things. But I think the biggest thing for me was just taking responsibility, because there's no way that you can take your power back without that, even if it's not your fault, especially when it's not your fault.
Yes.
Too. But remembering who you are and changing the game it requires this level of like, okay, hold my bag. Let me just take the wheel from now on.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
There was a prayer you were sharing, but the statement I landed on is this quote: "We must continually outgrow who we have been in order to continually develop into who we were created to be, who we were created to become."
Yeah.
And so that continuous growth, who would you say you are becoming, or that you have become?
Yeah. I've become the woman I needed to comfort me at that time when I was lost. I'm becoming my grandmothers, because a lot of times I couldn't tell them what I was going through. And these are like your mother, spiritual giants in the community, in the church, and in the neighborhood, in the family. But I was terrified to speak what was going on with me, not realizing that I had these giants on the planet. Would it just, baby, what? You go, what? Get in the car, let's go. We're coming to get you, right?
Yes.
Like, but I know that at the end of the day that I had to go through everything. This is my belief. I know that was my spiritual curriculum to get me to this. So I'm continually becoming the woman who helps other women get through what they have been through. And that's just what I receive. And I accept that now.
Yeah.
I love it. And I feel I'm a teacher at heart. Whether it's cooking, whether it's anything. I mean, like cooking, drawing, art, dancing, writing. I just love teaching and guiding and sitting and also being a student.
Yes.
So I feel I'm forever becoming someone I'm getting to know. That's a thing too.
Yeah.
I know Lauryn Hill once said, "Don't think you know me," because there's parts of me that I'm still figuring out about myself. Yeah. So sometimes when we see each other, it's like we're meeting a new version of my sister.
Yeah.
And so it's like I'm offering a new version of myself. And I found that I've got to a place that I give thanks, because I'm becoming the woman who has the sisters around her who accept that and who do the same.
Yes.
So it's just like we're always, oh, look how you bloom. Okay, like I love this. And so, yeah.
Oh, I love that. Your inner knowing, and then it being reflected in your friendships and your circle.
Yeah.
And so, as we started talking about divine living, I love the phrase you will often use, which is, "That's how you'll know."
Yeah.
So I'll ask, kind of in closing, how will people know, and how do you know when you are relocated or when you are divine living?
Yeah. I want to say the first step, there's maybe three big ones that we look for. Fear. It's going to feel, you're going to be afraid. Go in that direction.
Yeah.
Leave away from go away from the part that's going to feel like, no, I can stay comfortable if I stay here. That's not it. So you want to go away from that. That's how you'll know you're moving in the right direction. It's growth. It causes friction and expansion, and it's normal.
Yeah.
And then we want to also look at, how am I offering something? Like, how am I there's a part of my gifts now that I'm offering. Maybe if I'm not offering it in a space in front of people, maybe there's a craft I'm taking up. But that creative energy is such a healer. It's something that the Creator gives us back once we come out of this type of life that we felt dislocated. And that will lead you, if you keep following the creative path, it's going to lead you to this divine assignment. It's like your spiritual work comes out of creativity in some way. Like, oh, I love this. This is something good. And people start seeing you're good at it. And it could be anything, cooking or tending or writing, photography, dancing, anything. But it's going to lead you and it's going to nurture you and make a way for you. And then also that's how you'll know is when you start to now no longer have that emotional charge that you used to things of your past.
Yeah.
And just like, you know what, it just rolled right off of me.
I love that.
Yeah.
And you have a passage in there about no longer being triggered by those things from the past.
Yes. Yeah. And that's how you'll know. And then you just say, oh, thank you. And then if you don't have that all the way around, have grace with yourself, but then apply that muscle. Because the more that you do it, the more that you are training, these circuits in the brain to fire different, to show up different when triggered. Like, oh, I don't have to react.
Yeah.
I can just be here. And then that's growth.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I love that. Facing the fear, not running from it.
No.
Creating and allowing the creativity to take you to your divine assignment.
Yeah. And I have in here, doing you is what heals you. And that creative path, I cannot stress that enough. Even when you're not feeling well, if you're having a day that you just do not feel like yourself, or a week where you don't feel like yourself, I challenge you to get in the kitchen, go make something new. Look at a recipe you've never made before or one that you love. Go take a walk, paint, draw, do something that causes you to just get lost in creativity.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
That creative healing arts.
It is.
Yes.
Healing arts, literally.
Well, thank you so much for this conversation. I am so, so grateful. And today was the day. This was the timing.
Yeah.
And you all get Vibrate Higher Daily. I invite your soul to tell your heart, mind, body, and spirit, welcome home.
Joy, joy.